Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another Watcher of Realms video. Today I want to talk about the different promotion raids. I'll go through basically all of them real quick. We got a promotion event right now. I'll show you something on my spreadsheet if you want to take a look. I basically been tracking drop rates for a little bit. If you're curious, between EX2 and level 15, which one has better drop rates for mythic extracts, for example, right? So you got almost 7% chance in level 15, and you only got about a 4% chance in EX2. Obviously, this is not going to be exactly the right number because I haven't done thousands of samples, but it's going to give you kind of a good idea of how many you need. If you want to farm gold mats, you want to definitely do level 15 and not EX2. You can see you get basically double the amount of gold mats. However, if you need purple mats, you want to farm EX2. Because that also gives you a chance to get mythic extracts, and that's also how you're going to be getting your legendary extracts. If you need those, you're going to be farming EX2. Okay, so the link for this is always in the description of all my videos, so if you want to check that out, feel free. All right, let's go into the promotion raids and let's talk about it. So we have the promotion event right now. I guess I'll show that real quick. So we have Awakening of Heroes. Now you can level up, star up, or promote heroes. So any of those three methods work. These happen very often. It seems like they happen once a week. So you may want to kind of hold some of your mats and wait for these events. That kind of goes for everything, right? So there's usually always a like here we go, enhance gears. So maybe wait until Sunday if you want to enhance your gear, for example. Summoning, obviously you're going to wait for the weekends for summoning, etc. Okay, so let's go. We'll just go through one by one. Marksman. Now you're going to be using Marksman. So let's just do one of each, and I'll kind of just show you. I'll just leave it on auto and kind of show you my setup for some of these battles. Now, I'm not going to show the lower levels because these are usually these are a lot easier than a lot of the other content. So for this one, you're basically just going to be using, it's all air. There's no need for any ground units at all. So you're going to be putting in anti-air units. You can see I just have a lot of them. You can put your vortex here to heal this whole row. I like to put my healer near the front because if the enemies are attacking, you want to keep these units topped up. You don't really need them for these back units who are just going to kind of catch whoever's getting through. So this one is pretty easy here. You can see we're just going through and hammering down these air units. Placement is just literally I would put my two strongest up here with a healer. You can see they are attacking, so you do want a healer in this first row or middle row actually. Okay, so that one was pretty easy. You're gonna get gold mats. I believe these are pretty similar. I'll show you the EX2 fight real quick as well. These are pretty quick, so we'll just kind of go through real quick. Okay, so this one is different. This one was a lot harder than the stage 15. Obviously, the EX2s are usually going to be a good amount harder. So this one's kind of hard just because of the pathing. So what I did is I faced one of my strongest facing this way. I faced one of my other strong damage dealers facing this way. I did this before I got Silas, so Silas probably isn't in here. You can see I'm using mages, but it works out. So what I did is I did facing left, facing right, and then I did a bunch facing forward to work on these these spawns up here. So you basically got left, right, and then the rest facing forward. And I have two healers here. I probably didn't need two healers. Honestly, one healer was probably fine, but I just threw down a second healer just kind of to keep everyone topped up. These enemies are definitely going to be attacking your units, so you do want some healing in here. You're going to use Marksman and Mages majority. You can do this with all Marksmen if you have enough Marksmen built up. And you can probably do this pretty easily with Epic. I got a lot of legendaries in this. It's just because it's what I invested in because I'm a spender. So you really don't need that many legendaries for any of these. These are quite easy compared to gear dungeons, right? Which is, I think, a good thing. I don't think these should be super hard because these are for promoting your units. So they have a little bit of mechanics in them, but it's nothing really crazy. So, okay, this is stage 15 of the Mage dungeon. This one is interesting. You cannot drop any melee or I guess I'll call them ground units. You can't drop any ground units on this bottom row, so you're going to use your ground units up here. I got Zilla 2 because it's got the long range and decent damage. And what you'll do is you'll just drop some attackers. Now, you can face one up this way if you want to help clear this row out, and then you can face one this way. You should be able to attack this slot here because they have a timer and they go and they wait here. So that's why I have my Morrigan facing this direction, because this last slot here, they'll come and they'll stop. But it just gives you a little bit more reach as well. You can see I'm covering this direction, I'm covering this direction, I'm covering this row with here, but also covering this row. Again, you cannot put ground units in this bottom row. So this is kind of the layout I'm using here. If you have a ranged ground unit, you can always put a tank in front of them, and that just allows you to get damage out, but also have the block value and defenses of a tank. Kind of just a thing I do sometimes. You don't need any healing in the bottom. I put a healer in the top. You may not need that either. I just kind of always throw a healer to protect my units, but I don't see a lot of damage going out. These look like all melee units, so probably unnecessary there. You can see I only did that with a couple units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 or 7. I don't even think I did the full amount of units for that one. Okay. Now we'll go into the EX2 version here. EX2, let's go. Let's try to remember what these are. These have been on auto for a while, so. Okay, this one's nice. I really like when there's only one spot you need to defend, right? It just makes it a lot easier because you can just cram all of your units around the very end of this choke point here, right? So you can just kind of block. You can just put some of your good units here. You can see I'm basically hitting all of these tiles in front of Zilla 2 here. Again, you don't need all these legendaries. This is kind of just what I had built out, so that's what I'm using. Okay, I like to cover a big area as well, so you can see she's kind of covering all the way this direction and able to hit everyone here. And then these units over here are coming over here to help. You can see she extends all the way over here, so she's doing a good job there. I like kind of, you either just focus everyone in this little spot right here, but then sometimes you need more than one blocker because, you know, Zilla 2 can only block 2 units. So if you can't kill him fast enough, you want to spread out your attacks further away from your choke point. Otherwise, just focus all of your heroes here and then use 2 blockers. Again, as I said before, you can put a defender in front of a fighter if you want, if you have a ranged fighter such as Aspan or Zilla 2, etc. So yeah, that's a good strategy for that one. Now we'll do, what did I just do? Did I just do EX2 or did I just do, I think I just did stage 15, right? Oh my god, I'm confused. Did I just do this one or did I not just do it? That's the one I just did. Okay, never mind. Okay, quit. Okay, so we did both of those. Those aren't too bad. I'm trying to think of the one that was the hardest for me. Probably the fighter one was probably the hardest one for me. I think that's the next one we got, right? Endurance is the next one. Okay, so endurance was, this one is for healers and defenders. We'll start with stage 15. I'll show you this one. I think this is the one that has poison all over that's dealing damage to you constantly. Yeah, it is. So this one you can use 3 ground units if you want. You want to use a tank here because, or a defender I should say, because they send out waves of 3. So you do want the defenders and not the fighters, because fighters can only block 2 units, right? So I start out with a defender on each side, and then I do throw a healer on each side, and then I start throwing the DPS in these slots. It's kind of nice because they kind of leave it so you can have 2 really strong DPS that can kind of cover all 3 lanes, which is kind of nice. So basically 3 ground units, 2 healers, and 2 damage dealers is all you need. I added another damage dealer in there just for fun. And you can see she's blocking all of these units, and then Morrigan was kind of solo top, basically. That one was not too bad. You do need a couple healers just because the heroes you put on the board are constantly going to be taking poison damage. So you definitely want some healers there. Okay, now I think this was one of the harder ones for me that took a little bit, and then the fighter one was also quite hard for me to get the EX2 down. Was this one too bad? This one was a little bit tough because they spawn so quickly. So I actually used a cost generating hero over here. You can see I used my, what's her name? You can see the timing's a bit off. So when I cleared this, I dropped Abomination on top of that unit, but when it goes into auto, it just kind of is like a little split second of lag. So I didn't get 3 stars, but that doesn't really affect the loot for you. So if you know, on auto, it is what it is if you let one through every time. But you can see in the regular gameplay, I dropped Abomination on top of a unit, but here the auto, it was just a very, very slight amount of lag that caused it to drop a little bit later. This one was a little bit difficult. You had to get the timing right. I had to use a cost hero, just because you have to block the middle, then you have to block the left, then you got to block the right, and you got to do it fairly quickly. So you might want to use a cost generator in here to kind of help you do that. Yeah. Okay, so that's a general layout. Again, I had a healer healing the left side, healer healing the right side, and then damage dealers, and basically 3 ground units. Okay, so that was 15. Was that 15? Oh my god, no, that was Extreme 2. Okay, that was Extreme 2. We did 15 in Extreme 2. Okay, and now we're going into the melee attackers. Okay, so we'll do 15. We'll start with this one. And then we'll do the EX2, kind of just showing you kind of quick tips on all these. Now, this one was not too bad. The EX2 was a little bit difficult. This one was hard for me in the beginning because I didn't have a lot of fighters. Zilla 2 and ranged, you can play sideways to attack down this way, which is quite helpful. So you can see Zilla 2 now is going to attack basically 3 of the 4 lanes. And then I put my strongest other damage dealer, who can kind of solo that lane over there, who is Demos here. Now, you can use a lot of different... It just really is dependent on what you have. If you have Zilla 2 or Aspan built out, you're definitely going to use them because they have this same range and they're able to attack basically all of the lanes. And then what you're doing is you're kind of just blocking so that when they pile up here, it gives you time for your ranged damage dealer to hit all of the rows and clear them down. So you can see I have no damage in those 2 middle, but my Zilla 2 is going to cover those lanes for me. So if you put 2, that means you can... you know, stop them. You always want 2 rows basically because, you know, your fighters can only block 2 units and then your tank 3, so you got to be able to block, you know, more than 2 units most of the time. So you're usually going to stack them backwards even though they're not really doing anything. They're just kind of blocking in case one of the units happens to get through, right? Okay, now this is the hardest one I think out of all of them, because I just feel like people don't build ground units as much as they build, you know, mages and marksmen. So this one, I put a cost generator again, who's just going to do a little bit of damage for me to this unit. There's my Aspan, who's going to have a nice long range. You can see my Zilla 2 is also attacking and even blocking this lane. So all I got to do is put a Zilla 2, and then I have someone who can kind of solo the lane, which is my Abomination. He's going to do some good damage over here. Wrath is also a good solo unit. He can definitely solo a lane. You do get some healing here, so you don't really need healers, which is kind of nice. But yeah, that's what you're going to do. Just these 4. I probably could have soloed this, no problem. Aspan's here kind of just for fun. Wrath's going to be really good. Abomination is kind of a free unit you can get who's going to be really good. Demos is going to be really good. If you don't have legendaries, you should still be able to do this. Volca you'll get for free once you complete the story. She's kind of a good solo unit as well because she can give herself some lifesteal. Even though you do get the heal, you still, if you're not built very tanky, you might still die. So just be careful there. But that's that. Okay, so I went through the drop rates. I went through all that stuff. That's pretty much it for this video. I just want to go through all the promotion dungeons and kind of give my teams, my tips. Again, you do not need legendaries for these. This, even though it says like recommended heroes and it shows a good amount of legendaries, you definitely don't need them. You could definitely do this if you had a really solid Wrath built and a really solid Demos, etc. So you definitely don't need the legendaries. I just had them built out because that's what I got, so that's what I used. Okay, that's it for the video. That's all the dungeons, all 8 of them. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope it was useful. If you did, hit that like and that subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys.